Okay, it's recording.
Okay. So the Trilogy 100 comes with an internal and an external battery. Combined, if there's any power outage, it will go for about 6 to 8 hours, depending on mode. So the external battery pulls out, and you can check on the battery life, right? It sits in. Typically, with patients I've seen who are tricked and have an outdoors lifestyle, they tend to get 2 or 3 of these at a time. They could also request for an external battery charger, which will charge 2 of these at a time too. And every time the unit is plugged in, it will charge the internal and the external together. Then if there's a power outage, it pulls from the external first before the internal. All right. Right next to it, you have a filter, an air filter. I always recommend they wash it every week. The same as with the CPAPs, Respironics CPAPs, the DS560s. You wash it every week, change it every 6 months, according to what their insurances would pay for. Then there is an oxygen port here. So if they are on oxygen, the connector goes in here. Then they could use both together. Going to the front, you have your power button, the alarm silence button, and your button selectors in front. During a setup, we always use a bacterial filter that will go into the site first, which I recommend they change every 1 to 2 weeks, depending on the usage. Now, you have your passive circuit. Speaking to that, if they are tricked, there'll be a connector here that you could connect your accelerator ports, right? Depending on the circuit you use. If it's an active circuit, they'll connect it here. So you just unscrew this end, take it out. I'm putting the new connector. Now, the circuit will connect first to the humidifier. Just bear with me there. I'll put all this over here. One end goes here. The second end connects to the mask, and you can use any kind of interface. If they are on a passive circuit but tricked, I often use the swivel adapter. It gives them room to exhale. Okay. Right? There is a temperature control probe here. Which connects to the side here, and it does everything automatically. Now, depending on the kind of heated base they are using, with these, they don't do a fixed temperature. Okay. It's always a range. You get some like the HC550s that you can dial in a set temperature. your interface connects it here, and you're good to go. Now, every week, I suggest they clean everything. If they are to change the base, the bottle, depending on what the insurance will pay for, they could change the bottle every month. If not, they just clean it out and change it as the insurance pays for them.
Okay, so in between, can they clean that water chamber?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Does it come apart?
It just
No, I mean, does the plate come off of it?
no, it
Okay,
doesn't.
so you just swish it out and
Correct.
rinse it,
What are
okay.
they swishing it out with?
Use almost the same as the CPAP chambers. You use soft soaps.
Dawn.
Joy, Arvidai. Some people you use distilled white vinegar.
Oh, okay.
But as soon
Water.
correct, as soon as the insurance pays for another one, change it up.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Now, to turn it on, we push the power button. It comes on, and to get into the clinical mode, we hold the alarm silence button and the downward shift button. It lets you in. You could up top here. You see the real time. In fact, what the patient is doing in real time. At the bottom part of your screen walks you through the settings and the alarms, the options, the permits you to take out the SD card, which is to the side here. And when we typically do event checks, we pull the card out just to see what they are doing. Most doctors are particular about that. And now let's scroll through the settings and the alarms. You scroll down, highlight your settings and alarms, click into it. The first thing you see is if you have a dual prescription, patients typically neuromuscular. They typically have the daytime and nighttime settings, right? You could choose that option. But what we do all the time, typically, ST mode.
Okay.
And yeah, and institutions like the UCSF, they modify the flow trigger now to auto track. Is a lot more sensitive for them. Patients who are morbidly obese, long-term COPD patients, they use AVAPS AE. It's a good mode because if you scroll down to actually that's was highlighted. Now you can dial in a set rate, you can dial in a maximum pressure. It works almost like the Respironics CPAPs on AVAPS mode. Just that on the regular CPAPs, you don't have a set minimum EPAP and IPAP. On this, you could. So you have your max pressure, the rate, the minimum and max is minimum IPAPs, and the minimum and max is minimum EPAPs. With that, so you could dial in the sensitivities, dial in the eye times, and other good stuff.
I have a question. When you're talking about the pressures, your max pressure is 25, if I remember correctly?
Oh, correct.
So if I have a max EPAP of 10, and I have a max pressure support of 20, is that going to exceed the 25?
It will not let you get get
It's
even
too high.
as high as
It's too high.
20.
Right, so okay, that's what I'm asking. So
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
it is additive,
Correct.
it is not
Yeah.
above.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Correct. What I've is typically done is if I have a patient that says he doesn't, that he feels air hungry,
Uh-huh.
I'll always have to increase the max pressure to in order to do those changes.
Gotcha.
I always do. I've seen patients, especially morbidly obese, go as high as 30, at times 35, just for them to get sufficient inhalatory pressures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How high can this go?
Let's see.
So it's like a bilingual.
Yes, in essence. Here, let's cancel. Let's go back to
With the volume assured.
Right, I was gonna ask you, so you have a volume dial in too, right? A tidal volume dial in?
Correct. It goes as high as 50,
Okay.
but that's like the extreme end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
Well,
They're gonna be in the ICU.
That would
Right.
pop them apart.
Yeah.
Okay, so the questions that are tricked, what I've seen, they typically go on three modes: SIMV, volume of pressure control. With that, you could also add the AVAPS mode on it. All it does is it lets you get a set rate,
Okay.
right? A set rate and a short volume. But typically, trick questions use three main modes. If it's a trick question that was initially just ALS, they will tend to stay on ST. Yeah, but for those two, I would say 2 to 3 main disease conditions, that's what they tend to stay around. Pressure of volume or control for the tricks, SIMV2, then mainly AVAPS for long-term COPD patients.
Or neuromuscular.
Correct. Neuromuscular rarely, they are almost always on ST. Rarely.
What, on SC?
ST.
Oh, ST, okay.
Yes.
I'm going, oh, ST, new mode. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
because it can't trigger.
Yeah.
Correct.
You don't have enough energy.
Yeah. So going back to the modes, if you highlight it, you click modify, you can scroll through what you need, and to set it, just click OK. It takes you down to your next set of parameters,
Okay.
and you can
So
just
the right button is the selection?
right here.
Yeah, the right, this way.
Yes.
That's the left.
That's the
Yeah,
left.
That's the left.
That
No, the right for me. The right is,
for you here, right?
no, I mean this right. I'm turning towards you. Is that
Okay,
right or
so the right, it will be to back out. Once you are done, it tells you to confirm the mode,
Okay.
and just click OK or yes, and it's set. Typically, once I set it, in order for them not to go into it and mess everything up, I scroll down to my options, click into it, and I can either choose to give them full access or limited access. If it's full access, they will see what they are doing in real time. If it's limited, let's do this. detailed view of. Okay, so if I back out, exit, that's all they'll see. With full access, they'll see the pressures, the pool, the volumes, and all that, the
Yeah.
rates and all. Some questions will go on YouTube, learn how to get in there and try to do some changes, which is not good.
Well,
But,
are you able to lock them out?
once they know how to get in there, they will always do.
So there's no code, it's just a sequence of button push.
Correct.
So, and how often then are they, checked? Because.
Okay, with us, when we set them up initially, we do a 3-day follow-up call, do a 7-day visit, do a monthly visit for the first 3 months. Then after the first 3 months, it's quarterly. Yeah, but for VA patients, they will do a monthly visit. That's the requirement.
And,
Yeah.
and this, you have to physically touch to make changes, you cannot do it remotely.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't track this per modem
remotely,
on any of the,
On Wi-Fi.
No, ma'am. They didn't make an external modem that you could attach to this, but it's rarely used. Rarely. I often say it's preferable to go out there and
Yeah.
see exactly what they
Everything
are
else.
doing, because there are times when you talk to them over the phone, they'll tell you they are changing the filters, the circuits, and all. When you get there, they don't do that.
yeah.
And I've had patients get really sick, especially invasive
Ventilation.
patients, because they didn't take care of their supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, to me, it's always a good thing to go out there
Yeah.
and check, especially upon initial setup. You have to make sure they are comfortable
Yeah.
and can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions?
So is this something that any insurance can get?
Most insurances do, except for Kaisers. Kaisers, because
That's why.
Veronis makes the EVAPs in BiPAPs. It works closely the same. Just that you cannot just readily change the modes as you in fact, this is a full-fledged ventilator. The EVAPs Veronic's BiPAPs just strictly do the EVAPs mode. You could change it to an ST, change it to just a spontaneous mode, but that's all you could do on the BiPAPs.
Oh, those the V30s, the home?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Apart from that, ResMed, the ResMed do the IVAPs. It works not quite the same, and most patients prefer this to the ResMed Astras or IVAPs BiPAPs. They call them the SCAs.
Okay.
This is a lot more. You could adjust the sensitivity on this a lot more than on the BiPAPs. Yeah. The downside to this is just bulky.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah. But it's better than the other home ventilators, so.
I like it. Well, comparatively, if you look at this and the LTVs, the LTVs are tried and tested. The only problem, in my opinion, is in the circuit, since it has that peak that you can literally dial in. It always gets clogged with moisture. You will not have that problem with this. Patients, since we don't carry the LTV 950s anymore, patients that were transitioned from that to this tolerated this a lot better than the 950s. Now, if you look at the rest Astras, the Astras are good, but it still has a lot of work to be done on them because it's really very technical. There are times when I've gotten called out and I'll have to call rest just to do changes in the patient's home.
Wow.
So for the who provide that, this is better for the patient too.
Yeah.
It is.
The patients we have on it love it.
They say
Yeah.
that there's a Bluetooth, so is it, what's the Bluetooth?
Okay, I've tried to play with it a little bit. It will need a separate device to connect to the.
Ah,
Like the
like a modem, but
like
it's
the
a-
modem,
Correct.
It's a
bypass,
receiver.
CPAPs.
Or an app for your.
Correct.
Mm, we need that
Not the
modem.
app. I tried it. It didn't work.
Oh,
We
Yeah,
definitely
it
need
didn't
that
work.
modem.
okay.
Probably all
Good.
sorts of.
So it's SD
But it's gotta be
dependent then,
Bluetooth.
pretty much SD dependent. If you
Exactly,
wanna do a
sir.
download, okay.
Exactly. So, in my opinion, again, I prefer it because you have to go out there and you see
Gotcha.
exactly what they are doing.
Yeah. When you first started, Kum, you said that most physicians want you to go and get the card and do a download, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Is it the same, SD card that we use for the bypass? the
Yes.
CPAPs? Okay.
Yes. But to download it, you need a different software. It's not the same as the Anchor.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think it's Direct View or something.
Mm.
Oh, so should we be asking for that?
Godfrey's coming to the clinic with one of these. Direct view.
Yes. ma'am.
Right.
Any
So where
questions?
would the SD card
I'm sorry.
go? Sorry.
Right here to the side.
Okay,
It comes out,
okay.
yeah, and goes back in. Per my experience, if you don't go into the actual back menu and select safely remove card, if you just take it out directly, it resists everything that's on the card.
Oh, really?
Yes. So you have to go in properly.
Okay.
Select it, then take it out.
Okay.
So is that an option, Kum?
Yes. Not options. Okay, here. Let's go back out.
Mhm.
We'll go in. There is an option that will tell you select safely
Okay, cool.
remove card.
Okay, so it's one of the front menu
Oh.
items.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, well, we need to do that physically.
Then to
Well, until we get to software, we wouldn't even do it because we couldn't look at it anyway.
Well,
Mm,
wouldn't we-
So when does it
shouldn't we
erase
have the
it? Does it erase
software?
it?
Isn't that part of
When you're
our-
pulling it out?
yes.
Wow.
If we've got the program, that should be part of our staff to be able to,
Well, we'll have to
Access.
check into it, yeah, I gotta figure out how to get it.
okay.
Just call Veronics,
Okay.
right? I don't know if you have to pay as an
Download.
entity.
Yeah.
Yeah. They should be able to do it for you.
Okay. How many patients you guys have over there on ASB?
Quite a bit.
Really? We don't have any over here.
for hospital discharges.
Oh,
Yeah,
hospital
not the
discharges.
clinic.
Oh, okay.
On the ASVs,
So they're not on ASV when they're inpatient?
No,
They get transferred.
Okay, so that was another question. In talking with my pulmonologist.
yes, ma'am.
I'm trying to
Where
figure
do
out,
we
'cause they're on
go
BiPAP.
ASV versus AVAPs? What is ASV?
Okay.
It's not quite that.
Typically, with AVAPs, you use it when they failed on the ASV. I'll take a case in point. There is this guy I was taking care of. He was on the ASV, but he couldn't pull sufficient volumes.
Oh, okay.
So even with the set
Sensitivity changes.
pressures, he was he's still getting not getting what he was supposed to get.
Okay.
So in order to assure those volumes, we had to switch him to the AVAPs.
Okay.
Then we noticed changes. Now speaking to the ASV, there are two things I've noticed. With this, with patients that are on the ASV on the regular respironics BiPAP, and they are neuromuscular,
Uh-huh.
it usually works for them better than the rest MEPs. No,
Oh.
than the rest MEP ASVs. Because with the respironics ASVs, it has a max pressure and a rate.
Yeah.
For the rest MEPs, it just have a minimum EPAP and maximum I am minimum. So there's no die-in rate. If they are the kind that just ride the vent,
Yeah.
it will not work for them.
Also, the patient I was dealing with, ASV was contraindicated because they had this severe cardiac disease and a compromised cardiac output.
Yes.
So apparently there's a study out there that says ASV, no.
No for ASV with somebody with cardiac.
Yes.
Right, with anybody cardiac.
Yes.
Is there
Yes,
any
no.
other patient population that we should say, oh, no?
I haven't come across it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just the cardiac
Fully speaking,
especially.
yes. I
Ejection
haven't come
fraction
across
of
it yet.
30
Yeah.
or less.
Okay, so I'm supposed to be getting that email, that study from Dr. Hickey, so I'll share it with everybody.
We have it, Michael, they gave it to us in school.
Yeah, it was in
Yeah.
school.
Well, the one you guys went to?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
Medicare, yeah.
Okay,
Medicare
good.
says they won't
It was
pay.
the
Well,
most
you guys
popular
can share
thing
it.
since
Popular.
sliced cheese, and then all of a sudden, all these people started dying
Yeah,
with cardiac issues.
Yeah,
So then all of a sudden, they got really protective, and now they're really careful in putting it with people that
Yeah.
have a cardiac.
Okay,
Because there's no pressure limit. They're not
Mm.
able to be limited. Is that?
not quite.
With the ASV, since that is a range in the pressures, right?
Right.
It doesn't give you a set dial in.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Exactly. So
It's a variable breath to
Correct.
breath. So if there's compliance changes because of fluid accumulation,
correct.
they
Yeah, then it's
compress
probably
and now you have a
Temperature.
bottomed out patient.
Correct, ma'am.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Good job.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very,
Thank
very
you,
much.
Tom.
Thank you.
And you notice you have the just an estimated
Setting.
initial
Starting.
settings, right?
Mhm.
You could dial it in as you work
Working.
with them to see what they are comfortable with and all that.
But this is a good starting point.
Correct.
That's good.
So is that, on your settings like that, it's unisex, and it's not male, female?
Typically, since you be using it often for morbid or obesity
Okay.
is unisex. Because you get cases that don't need a lot more pressure, cases that you don't need a lot less, right? So, per my experience, at times you look at them and they are real thin,
Yeah.
but when you dial it in, they tell you they are not getting anything. At times the real big, you dial it in, they tell you no, it's too much.
I got it.
Yeah,
So it's a starting point.
it's just a starting point.
Okay.
So are the rise times and the flow rates, set by you?
The cycle sensitivities, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, and all
That's
that.
good.
okay.
So in fact, let's just go into it one more time. Yeah, settings alarm to check it now. Cancel. Here. Let's go to A
Hi. How are you? Yeah, it's great. Grab a chair. Hey,
that's-
Oh, good morning,
guys. How you
sir.
doing?
Good morning, how are you?
I'm great. Okay, so if we scroll down to the trigger types, again for neuromuscular, we have the option to do flow, auto track, auto track sensitive, and nowadays I see them lean more, especially long-term neuromuscular to auto track sensitive.
I was thinking that would be it.
Yes. With that, we could dial in the right time.
Oh.
Yeah, the flow trigger sensitivity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There is a patient we are working with right now, and he's on the SIMV.
Uh-huh.
We noticed that since the apnea rate is set to, I will just say 10,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, it died in a rate of 10, right? Which I don't know why, but the sensitivity was initially set to 2.
Okay.
Every time he will ride the vent, it will alarm all the time. We tried increasing the rate, it did not help. Tried increasing the apnea rate, it did not help. In the end, we have to increase the sensitivity.
Okay.
Yeah, because you dialed them out.
Right.
Oh, correct. And at least it helped. I have a second patient that is going through the same thing, but she's on volume control now, and she keeps on riding the vent. It keeps housebound up to all night. So that's one thing I noticed, that if you the sensitivity, if you increase it, it helps.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you could dial in the cycle sensitivity too. If they say, usually I notice it works with the high times. Of course, they will tell you, oh, it cuts off my breath too soon. Some, it says
If you mess with the rice.
the cycle
Okay.
sensitivity. So the average I've seen is 20 to 30%.
Okay.
Yeah, then they'll become comfortable in that range.
So what is it a settings of 1, 2, 3, or is it percentage?
For the trigger sensitivity is 1 to 3, 4.
Okay.
For the cycle sensitivity is a
Percentage.
percentage
Okay.
range.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the E-Sense, it's like the E-Sense on the A40s, and you
Okay.
can set the percent on exhalation to re-trigger that.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
Correct, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So what's the percentage from to what is?
okay, for the cycle, it's from when you dial it in, it starts always at 20, but you could modify it up and down from there, right? For the trigger sensitivity, it'll start at 2. But if they have an inline running net, that will affect it too. So
Yeah, it's not gonna sense it.
exactly, you have to either turn the nerve treatment option on,
Oh,
and if you have it on and they are not on the nerve, it will keep alarming too. So you have to adjust the trigger sensitivity definitely to in that case.
so when you have a patient that you've locked out, basically, to that bare bone screen,
Yes, ma'am.
can they still access the neb mode?
If they are invasive, you just turn it on.
Okay.
Yeah, and leave it there. They will.
Okay.
It should be fine. But initially, you have to adjust the sensitivity.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We're not probably going to be ever making changes ever, but we need to understand it when patient comes to us with problems, or when we have a patient in-house that we're watching for a couple nights before they go.
Yes, ma'am.
So on this one, it doesn't adjust for the nebulizer treatments.
Once you have it on, yes, it will.
In other words,
It
we,
will.
if the patient's on nebs, we just
the
turn it on, leave it on.
trigger.
Oh, the trigger.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So we need to put that in the,
Let's just go up to it.
we need to put that in the prescription comment, patient neb treatments Q4. Yeah.
So that they're not, and the reason why I ask is that they're not adjusting it. Cause some people
Not
will
each
adjust
time.
it, yeah.
No,
And it has to be
that was my
clear,
question.
because they will.
So my question is, cause these patients are in-house and they're on BiPAP, who's doing the conversion for the settings for the ASV from the BiPAP to the ASV when they go home? Dennis, you're doing that?
Yes, so
Is it-
usually when there's patients in the hospital or
Mhm.
in-house, usually
Mhm.
you guys use the V60 in the hospital?
Right, yeah, the V60.
Yeah, the
uh-huh.
V60, there's an option in there. We would try to educate all the hospital, all the
Staff.
RTs about the
Mhm.
V60. There's an option for AVAPs in there rather than the RT going back and forth to titrate it.
Right,
If
right.
you use the AVAP in there, it's easy transition, but if you cannot do it, we will do it for you.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
And the reason I asked them to come is because of that patient we had, and I had no idea what to tell the docs to write the prescriptions for, and I was like, ah.
Yeah, so usually what we do is like, you guys give us I
Idea
ask
what-
for
yeah.
what setting you have in the hospital, then I go with my RTs and
Yeah.
we usually goes with the height and weight of the patient and calculate the tidal volume target on it,
Yeah.
and we'll go from there.
That's
But
good to
on the
know.
V60s,
Yes, ma'am.
the flow rate is different, it's not variable like this, so,
Okay,
right?
I'm not so familiar with V60. All I know is that you guys use V60 in the hospital, and I know there's a mode in there that you can
You
use the
said, you
PPAP.
can set the rise time and the sensitivity and all that on the
Oh,
V60.
yeah.
I know that, but he was saying that
Variable
on this
rate.
one, it's variable. So it's two different modes anyway, that they would probably.
But they're
need to be-
similar enough that you would be able
That you can
to
titrate
translate the settings.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you. It's
So
good
talk to
know.
us about interfaces and interface problems.
Okay. If they are non-invasive, it will be similar to the BiPAPs and ECPAPs.
Okay.
Either the full face, the nasals, and the pillows. So
You're
it's
kidding, pillows?
correct. Some people actually do. Yes.
There's a pillow that capable of going all the way to 25. that can do
Exactly.
it.
The
Yes.
Bravida.
Okay.
Bravida.
My poor nose.
Yes.
For nose, yes.
Yeah. Some patients tolerate it really well.
Okay.
I had an ALS patient that will be on a full face at night time
Uh-huh.
and a
Now, that makes
pillow
sense.
in the
I was gonna
daytime.
say
That
that,
makes
that would be the
sense.
only patient
Yeah.
that I can think of.
There are some that want them in exam mask on all the time.
Okay,
So it depends on what they'll be comfortable with.
yeah,
There are some that just go over the mouthpiece in the daytime, but it's a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
It's rare. It's always good to just have the prescription just in case they need it.
So to add on this one, I'm sorry, to add on it, so one good thing about if the patients are on this therapy, we go out there and visit them regularly and we work with them with what mask they're gonna be comfortable with. With this therapy, all the masks are inclusive. There's no such thing as like the BiPAP and CPAP, you have to wait 6 months or
Right.
3 months, something like that. No, it's all, as often as you need it, we'll go ahead and change it for you.
Okay.
So we work
or
with-
you can have more than one mask to use.
Correct, yes.
Now, Des, what about the trach? I mean, how you hooking up? What's the piece for the trach?
Oh, okay, so it typically we will have a 15
Millimeter adapter.
millimeter adapter or the single connector if they are on a passive circuit,
Okay.
right, which will connect it to the trach. If they are invasive, it's just a 15. No, the tubing connecting it to the exhalatory port, right? The 15 millimeter.
Swivel.
No, if they are invasive, the swivel is for a passive circuit.
Okay,
You connect them to the 15 to the T adapter if they are running nerves, then the trach.
okay.
Yeah.
So there, so
yes, ma'am.
on the invasive, there really is no exhalation port.
There will be one that you connect
Oh, okay.
here.
Right here.
If they are invasive,
Okay,
If
all
they
right,
are-
I forgot that, okay.
if they are
Okay,
invasive
wait a
on a
minute. Okay,
passive circuit,
okay.
you use the swivel connector because that will with the exhalatory
Right, right.
mechanism.
Yeah.
If they are on an active circuit,
Okay,
Uh-huh.
all
the-
right.
You have to have the
Okay,
pressure port.
okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Good to know.
So if you have to suction the patient or something, do you have a swivel adapter and all that just like normal vents or
With
so?
an inline.
That you can
There is
inline?
an inline catheter, sleeve or not, right? That goes directly
The balance.
first,
The
then
balance, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
then that space piece, right?
More distance.
That will connect to your 15, then the T adapter. So you could suction them in.
Not break the circuit and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are cases where I've seen if they are not on the humidifier, they'll connect the HME first.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, then the 6-inch dead space tubing.
Flexi.
Correct. Then your catheter, your T adapter.
Yeah,
The same way we set them up in the,
Yeah.
Just like in the vents, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, correct.
Yeah.
So basically, the setup from here to here will not change.
yeah.
It's just the circuits that will.
No problem. All right.
HMEs.
Nice.
Yes.
So typically, do you go HMEs or everybody starts on this?
Okay, there's a lady I'm working with now that we went straight to it.
HMEs,
HMEs.
yeah.
In the same token, I've seen patients that go directly to this.
So it just kind of depends on the patient. And
Correct.
if you have them on HMEs, how often do they have to change them?
I would say daily. I will not take that chance.
Because I know in the inpatient arena now, we have those HMEs, they don't recommend changing but every 96 hours.
Unless they're soiled,
Yeah.
totally soiled.
Well, unless they're,
Right,
unless
right.
they're soiled, so I didn't know what's happening in the home care with that.
If that's the case, yeah. But again, it's at home. There is that continuity and that care is not all.
Right.
They don't
Nobody.
always follow it to the letter.
So if you tell them to change it every day, they might change it every 3 days. and we'll be
Exactly. So
lucky.
I won't take that chance.
Yeah,
Usually,
okay,
we really depends on the home health nurse on that one.
okay.
Exactly.
And when we visit them and we look at the supplies, hey, it looks like you're not using your supplies. Are you changing them every day? That's
Yeah.
right. Then if they don't, what we end up doing is we do a planning care update. And we
Okay.
send it to the doctor office and let them know, hey, we visited your patient today. We realize or recognize that they're not using the supplies, you know.
Heads
so-
up.
Yes.
Exactly. Remember about your bacterial filter, right? We got a case where the husband did not change it for 2 months. The lady ended up in the
Hospital.
ICU.
Infection,
Or
Or-
mold, yeah,
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Now, that brought up, when you said HME, my mind is, "Grrr." I'm seeing HMEs for CPAPs and BiPAPs. Are you seeing them? Are you using them?
No.
No, because the humidifier comes integrated.
Yes, but I'm
Unless-
seeing out there on the market CPAP HMEs and BiPAP HMEs. That is probably off market then.
Off market right now, but because we haven't.
Okay,
We haven't used
okay.
it,
I was like, what?
yes.
But
I-
yes, you
it's-
can buy CPAP HMEs on Amazon.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can buy a pack of 50 of them.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
You can buy anything on Amazon,
Wow.
anyway, so.
Because a patient asked me and I said, I don't think so. And I went and looked and sure enough.
There are cases where patients who were coming on the CPAP with a bacterial
Yeah.
filter. I'm like, you don't need it.
Yeah, but we have some really
Yes.
worried patients and they feel better.
Bacteria filters when they're
Okay,
using
go
an
for it.
HME, I mean, when they're using a Passover.
Well, they go to
Yes.
YouTube.
On this, right?
Yeah.
Yes. On the regular CPAP, well, this will come standard on this setup.
Yeah.
On a regular,
Trilogy setup.
Trilogy.
But if it's on a regular CPAP, I don't recommend
You just have that one way.
it.
Valve.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions, you guys?
Have questions?
Thank you for
And
coming.
I was,
so much.
that patient that I was gonna warn you about, never mind, it was a different, deal.
Provider?
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
So you're lucky, you don't know how lucky you are.
Dodge the bullet.
Also, I stopped by to take this chance and opportunity to bring you this. This is what we're piloting right now. It's called, are you guys familiar with NIO?
No,
NIOB? So
Oh,
you-
yeah.
Yeah. this-
maybe Michael in Odessa went to school for it.
So this is the new one that we're piloting here in Bay Area and Texas right now.
Okay.
It's manufactured by Breathe. Usually this is here for your COPD patient that's on a high flow right now. So this one is like a mini
Oh, yeah.
ventilator.
I've seen it.
So if, you know, the patient right now using an E-tank or
Mhm.
whatever portable system they have, and they're already on the advanced stage of the COPD, so oxygen is not enough.
Yeah.
The oxygen is just gonna go to the dead spot of it.
Mhm.
So with this one, with the use of the E-system connected to this equipment, it will go to the alveoli system, so it will pump the patient
Okay.
out. So we have one right now in Washington that they're doing. The patient used to be at 8-10 liters when they're using the tank only, and now he's okay with 2 to 4 liters.
Oh, great.
And
I need to give this to our pulmonologists.
so we went to John Muir Rehab yesterday, and one of the RT in there was part of the case study. We didn't know that. We just went there and yes, we've been using this in our rehab, some patients use it, and now it's already, product coded, so now insurance will pay for it, so it's.
So Medicare pay for it, Dennis?
Yes.
Oh, that's
And have you
good.
had any CCHP?
So far, no, we just come out with, we just piloted it
Just
last
shoot him
month.
over, Angela, okay.
And that's why we're
Like
going
those
out
stuff.
there in the
So it's a
community.
little pressure support.
Yes. So it's like a mini Trilogy.
Kind of, because in fact the oxygen, the interface actually, right, is almost like a venturi. So as you inhale, it helps letting air, which
Yeah.
augments your volume. Due to that volume augmentation, they will need less
Yes.
oxygen per se. But now it doesn't have a motto. It uses the oxygen supply.
To drive it.
Exactly,
Okay.
ma'am.
So that's gonna use their tank a lot faster.
Yeah,
If they are outdoors,
yeah.
if they are in-house, there is a compressor
Okay.
that
That
comes.
connected to concentrator and use it.
Oh, correct.
So, question,
Mhm.
they have one of those little tiny backpack D or E cylinders.
That's not gonna work.
It has to be a minimum of an E cylinder.
Yes, it is linear, because the backpack is a pulse.
Pulse,
Yes,
okay.
continuous
So,
versus pulse, yeah.
so with an E cylinder, somebody on 2-3 liters, how long's that gonna last?
4 hours,
Okay, that's decent.
yeah.
Two
And the
liters.
bottom.
Yeah, but you put them at risk of running out of
So it's
oxygen.
more closer to 5,
Doing
right,
that.
2 liters.
But it's
Yeah,
good
Closer
for
to
a
5,
trip to the
yeah.
grocery
Yes.
store and back.
Depends
No,
on
because
how they
it's
fill up
driving,
the-
it's
the
driving that
cylinder.
unit the whole
If I remember
time.
Right,
If
4
we-
hours.
Yeah,
4 hours,
it
some
will,
of them was 2200 or
yeah,
something, then it would be
but
5
due to
hours.
that interface, right, it regulates the flow of source. When it senses you need more, it gives you a lot more.
I know, that's why I said, it's kind of, I mean, I get the premise of it, but
Mhm.
the patient that I put it on, the driving PSI on that patient wouldn't have allowed him to go outside for 4 hours because his demand
Mhm.
was so high. So in that variance, those patients that have the higher demand
Mhm.
and
There's a- yeah,
drives,
there would be a limit.
they're not gonna,
That's
so
why
we
I
can't, we have
asked
to
2
be
or 3
careful
liters.
about
Yeah.
that, because it's not gonna do what it says.
Well, nothing works
Well,
for
it puts them at
everybody.
risk. You would have to
Yeah.
determine how they do and then calculate it, and
And see which patient.
how
will
long are you
work
gonna be
for.
gone? Okay, you need
Yeah.
3 tanks.
So again, it's not for all patients.
Yeah.
It's all for, if you ask me, it's for the advanced COPDers on it. And if you look at that particular equipment, there's 3 mode in there with activity or not activity or
Yeah.
things like that. So,
Oh, and here's the
All right.
Neato.
Well, just start packing that stuff up.
So, what do these little units run,
what do you mean?
cost-wise?
Cost-wise, it's the same as that.
Okay.
That's still on a pilot right now, they see if we will carry it or not, how it will take off or not. So, but again, we have a good,
Look, it drops their Borg scale by woof, down. No more pooping out oxylots, Pedro.
Which is my heart.
Right, cause it's been around for at least 7 years,
the NILV. Yeah, around probably, yes.
Yeah.
Now this just become,
maybe, and more of a standard.
now insurance will pay for it.
Yeah, because the patient that I had was a vet in Kaiser.
So
I
that's it.
I can't say thank you enough for this.
Yes,
You're
Mom,
welcome,
thank
ma'am.
you.
So
You're welcome.
appreciative.
Thank you.
Dennis, we
Yes.
have no clinic tomorrow.
No, thank you.
We're running out of patients unless they give these CCHP people back.
How are you, Mike? Lucy.
Yeah, good seeing you. Good seeing you,
Good
too.
seeing you.
Yeah.
Wanna see how clean you is.
He did
No
great.
pressure.
Oh,
Hope I did a good job.
he did,
Yeah,
that's
wonderful
good.
job. Give him a tip later.
So now,
Thank you.
so now you can start charging for your services, you know, I could go out and teach this. Yeah, great.
That would be good, you know.